Under new business, I don't believe we have any new business. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes? And are there any corrections to be made?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Citizen communication. I know we have someone come up and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Blanche DeLeon, and I'm come here today to appeal to this group that I'm of the firm belief that our city needs a monument to our founder, and I am committed to that idea. I have visited with City Council on this issue. As I had spoken earlier with James Worden today, there's some times that are better than others, but I want this committee to know that I have not let go of that idea. I still believe that it's vital to our community. I think it's also a visible sign that this community is about historic tourism, and it would support that concept. I'm willing to put a lot of my own elbow grease into this project, raising the money myself through a community effort for that project. The point, I guess, that I would like to share with this group is that I'm at the point where I am needing a designation for that land. This is what I asked the City Council for, and it's not that they're not in agreement with that, but we're just not moving anywhere with it. It has come to my attention that Parks and Recreation would support this project, or possibly support this project on the DeLeon Plaza. That would be a good place, one of many that I would entertain. But I would ask this group to include these kinds of conversation in your committee, and certainly when the time is right to support the project when we can get it moving. So does anybody have any questions?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much for bringing this to us. Certainly, I mean, it's not unusual for towns to honor the founders with statues or some sort of monument like that, so I don't think that this is a bad idea at all. I could get behind this and support it myself. So, any other commissioners have any comments?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for coming in, Blanche. We did have a discussion prior to this meeting about the possibility of a park or a place in one of our parks for such a monument. I don't know that we haven't talked as a commission about where they could be. I personally could see a monument being placed in DeLeon Plaza since it is named after our founder. I think there's some possible good locations there, prominent locations. I think the founder should have a prominent location. Other communities typically do have those monuments in those kind of locations. So that's kind of where.
And I had believed that when I discussed this with you this morning, DeLeon Plaza is an ideal place for it. It's certainly a good place for it. One of the other locations that I'm really particularly interested in is this City Hall Plaza, because this was the hub of the original village. And so I'm pretty much attached to this. But as I mentioned to Mr. Worden earlier, when we bring people here and want to do things here, one of the things that's a little prohibitive about this area is lack of resources, water fountains, bathrooms, those kinds of things. Because everything around the square on a weekend is usually, locked up. So my idea is anywhere within the original township would be grand. So anyway.
Anyone else?
Ms. De Leon, on this project, you're talking about statue for Mr. Martin De Leon. Do you have a committee that's trying to raise funds?
No, not yet. That committee, we have a basic board, However, we haven't moved on it because I felt like I didn't want to go ahead and do fundraising if we didn't have the land to put it on. So once we have a commitment to a location, then we can roll with those other
So
types.
what you expect from the Parks Commission is to make a decision as, if they want to give a piece of the De Leon Plaza, which is your recommendation, am I correct?
That would be one of several recommendations. I did not realize that the De Leon Plaza was a park, which is under your purview. So that would be an ideal spot. Again, the other spot that I had been looking at was this administrative plaza area. That's a city
Thank you.
matter, and I think Charmel is here.
Madam Chairman, I'd just like to ask that maybe we put something on an agenda in the future so that we can discuss it and talk about the options and what our role would be in discussing something like this.
Okay, and facilitating getting some spot of land and
Well, right, I mean, just
whatever.
get all the particulars. We don't have anything posted for tonight, so we
Okay.
can sort of listen, but we
Can we
really
do that,
can't
please?
take any action or deliberate anything. But if we get it on the agenda, we can talk about it in some detail.
Would you like that on the next meeting that
Sure.
we have that soon? Okay, if we can, let's please do that.
Could staff kind of give us a little bit of thought, maybe give us a little bit of guidance on what's possible, what the issues are?
Yes, we can bring that up on the June meeting, is no problem. We would have to, this is new to me as well, and so we would need to know size and different things of that nature before we could get into it. But then maybe that's something that Ms. DeLon could come back next commission and kind of say this is what her ideas were, conceptual of how big it would be, and that way when we start looking for a facility, we know what size we're looking at. Without knowing what that footprint is going to be, we couldn't say what land would be available.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
would it maybe be efficient for Mrs. De Leon to leave her contact information in the event that for some reason we do not meet in June, but on the assumption that we are going to meet in June, maybe you could get, do you need 2 square feet? Do you need 12 square feet? What are you kind of thinking? And maybe bring a few details back to us a little bit.
Sure. Our model follows when we began to do this, and we visited Seguin, who did this very similar thing, utilizing their community to raise the funds for their Seguin monument, which is in their area similar to our De Leon Plaza. However, in looking at their timeline and how they made decisions about things, the size of the monument was more inherent on the size of the piece of land that they had to put it on, and I would assume that something very similar to that would be the case here.
Okay.
When I spoke with Mr. Weirden on this particular project, the space in the downtown area is so tight that to have it there, you really would have to consider the space before. I wouldn't want to plan some huge monument if you just didn't have, space for it. And that was not my vision. My vision was just, to memorialize it, not necessarily. So it would be very dependent on how much space we had to work with.
Okay.
Is the Seguin monument something that could be used as an example?
It definitely can, because I went and actually visited with that group did it, but it's huge. But their area is pretty barren, so it fits very well in their space. However, our circumstances are much different than theirs.
Okay. All right, well then we'll revisit this in June. And thank you so much.
I thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
And thank you, Mr. Weirden.
All right. I don't see anyone else that may have citizen communication. So now, items from commissioners. Anyone?
I just want to follow up with Ms. De Leon's discussion about the plaza and it not being as accessible for people with needs. I know we've got the Dunlap Memorial Fountain in there. Does it work? Could it work, or it just sits there? And I'm sorry, Kobe, I didn't bring this up to you. It's just something.
Yeah, I'll have to check. From my knowledge, it does, but I couldn't answer that with. I'm not positive about that right now.
Okay.
So
And I don't mean to put you on the
that's
spot
all right.
with that.
That's okay. That's okay.
But when she brought up about a water fountain, I thought about that. I've been over there. It doesn't seem to work, but I could be wrong.
I'm remembering in my head last time I pushed the button, it did, but that
Okay.
doesn't mean that.
I appreciate you just checking on that.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from any other commissioners? No?
Not today, maybe.
Not today.
Maybe in June.
Okay. I just have a couple of, I have a comment to make. Apparently, the drive-in movie was a huge success. I had so many friends talking about it, and what they're wondering is, will the rest of the summer movies be in the drive-in format, or was that just unique to Greece?
We purchased with that movie screen, and the thought behind the movie screen is to offer different types of series. And so we have like our summer series that is geared towards more of the younger kids, and then we have additional series that we're putting on. And so we did purchase the FM transmitter for that, and so we will continue to have different things to that nature that we use a drive-in setting, and so
Okay.
you'll see more of those as our program continues.
Well, they loved it. They thought the whole thing was just a lot of fun.
It was
So
a neat
that's
event.
good. We need to hear that. And then I had a question that I was asked to ask. Does the city ever allow overnight camping within Riverside Park for scouts to work on merit badges?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have an overnight permit that you can obtain from our office. Those are based on what the event is. Sometimes we have a disc golf tournament. We'll allow people to stay overnight. I know that we've had some scouts come out and do some overnight things, so they'll just have to fill that out, and then we take that on a case-by-case scenario
Okay.
on what the event is.
All right. Well, that's all I have then.
Well, since I just, from the new business from last month, what's the status on the parking spaces?
I'm still working with with the Little League group on the parking spaces for the sheriff's departments and stuff, and working with the high schools. We're having some times where we have kind of not conflicting, but we have multiple use out there, and so we're still working on that part of it right now. The other question that you had last time was on the electricity,
Okay.
and we are rewiring that electricity for that particular scoreboard that's talking about.
That's not right. That's not right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right, then it's time for the department reports, our director's report.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just a short overview of what we've got coming up and some of the things that we're working on. This May, we've got two tournaments coming up, one this weekend, which is a USSSA boys baseball tournament, and then Memorial Day weekend, we have a girls fast pitch tournament that's shaping up to be very large. I think right now we're at 34, 35 teams, and so we'll probably be in the 40s to 50s on that tournament. Really excited about that one. Our girls tournaments are starting to really get a good number going forward, and our partnership with IFA has been a very good success, I think, both ways, and so we're excited about that tournament coming up. We have gone online with our registrations, and so now you can go online and you can reserve a pavilion. You can sign up for one of our events, whether that's softball or kickball, things of that nature. Now, there's some of those things that we do not rent, that do not go online, like a special event or special event areas. Some of those areas we still want you to come in for a consultation, so those may not be online. But for someone that wanted to have a birthday party at the Children's Park Pavilion, you can do that online now. The next thing is on the June meeting, I will be presenting to you all a budget presentation of what my projected or proposed budget is. I will be presenting that to council on June 1st, and so on the June 8th or 9th meeting, whatever date that is, I'll be presenting that to you all as well. I wanted to give a reminder, just so for plans, normally this commission does not meet in July. because we have our July 4th show. So we have some new commissioners on, but we will not have a meeting in July unless needed for a dog park or something of that nature. But so you can mark your calendars that July we will not have a meeting. And other than that, we are trying to catch up on mowing. We're getting close to being caught up, but that April showers brings May grass. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. But other than that, that's all I've really got to report.
It's supposed to rain all week, I hear, so.
Yeah, I think to knock a drought out, all we have to do is have a boys' baseball tournament and it rains.
Yeah. But apparently y'all are keeping the mosquitoes under control. I haven't
We're trying.
noticed. No, I've heard the trucks early in the morning, and it seems to be working, so that's all good. Okay.
That's all we've got. That's it.
Dan, y'all have anything? You have anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed we're gonna have the bark in the park.
There's a correction on that.
So, what?
On this community reports, is that where you're looking on the committee reports? There's a correction on that. It's not bark in the park, I believe it's bark for the park. And the date is July 25th instead of the 11th, that's noted here.
Well, okay, but still, don't you think we need to maybe get together and have a park commission meeting on the?
That's fine. We'll use this next June meeting and then decide if we need to or not. That's up to that committee. If that committee needs, feels like we need to get together, that's perfectly fine. We normally do not have a meeting in July, but if that is needed through the commission, it's not a problem to do.
Oh, we can talk about it next month.
Sure, that's perfectly fine.
See when
We're going to talk about it in just a minute, too. So we're going to talk about it in just a minute, too.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just,
Yeah,
they
no.
was fresh on my mind and, we
No,
need to
ask,
put our heads together.
ask,
We need to-
absolutely. Well, don't put your pen away. We need you to sign up for some stuff. All right, that's all you have? Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the dog park. Y'all know that we had the core group of 4 folks, myself, Gail, Ash, and Jamie, who are working on kind of getting the fundraising going for this, because it is our intent to raise the money for this dog park. One of the things that we've been able to do is give a go-ahead to the architect to begin drawing up some concepts for us, which we think is going to be helpful as we, tell people, we want to raise this money, here's what we're trying to do. And one of the things that has been helpful to us is that we've been given the go-ahead to run the concession, the beer sales and concession for the street dance, which is June 18th. That's a Thursday night. Mario Flores and the Soda Creek Band, which is, it's dance hall music as best I can tell from what I've heard, Googling it. But we need, we have a sign-up sheet. Did you bring the sheet? If not, I've got a sheet with me. We need some labor to sell tickets or to hand out the beer when those tickets are sold. And we've got 2 shifts for that. We've got the first shift, which is 6:30 to 8:30, and the second shift is 8:30 to 10:30. And so I don't know if you want to pass your sheet around or, okay.
I'll do the early shift.
All right, well, when the sheet comes around,
There are some positions already filled from the core group, and the ones that say either beer or tickets, those are the spots that are open, currently open.
right, if there's not a name by it, it's an open spot. Feel free to,
I think we had 14 spots. Was it 14 spots,
I'm not
Danielle?
sure.
14 spots total. And the core group filled some in. So we were hoping to get the rest here, and if not, we'll reach out to friends and family.
Right,
Got a,
doesn't have to be just the commissioners
got a
here.
question on that beer sales. Who is responsible for the beer license?
We have the city will pull the license.
The city?
Yeah, we have John, you may be able to have to help me on this, on the group that we're able to pull that license like we do for Boot Fest. Am I correct in that statement? Yes. So we will pull the license.
Normally, the organization, and typically the events that I work with, the person who's in charge of the event usually pulls the license. But in this case, the city will pull the license for the beer sales.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. And so while that sheet is going around for folks to volunteer for that, we're also going to have an article in Victoria in Motion magazine. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. It's Cheryl Johnson at Outburst Advertising. I know, Lee, I know you write for the magazine quite frequently. So anyway, she's gonna give us some space there. So I'm working on that. Let's see, Jamie sent an email. Let me make sure I cover everything he'd like us to do. The Bark for the Park event is going to be July 25th. And that's going to be, still, we're in the Special Events Center. We're going to have some vendors, different organizations, and HEB is going to come and sample out dog food and dog treats and stuff like that. So we're hoping to have a good turnout for it. He wanted us to know that VCA, which is the animal hospital on Sam Houston by the post office, VCA, they're very, very interested in helping with building cost, maybe in lieu of having just a donation with some signage. I'm not sure what the difference would be, but he reports that, and he's still trying to work with a Mrs. McGee over at PetSmart and see what PetSmart's going to be able to do. But we're we're working on this. I'm sorry, excuse me. We're working on this and hoping to generate a lot of interest. And again, the architect has been instructed to go ahead and draw up some plans for us to look at and consider, and that'll help us as we talk to folks, to show them what we plan to do and why we need them to donate. And of course, all of us, it'll help to talk it up with our friends who have dogs and those who don't have dogs, that this is a good thing. Riverside Park just became a Lone Star Legacy Park. We're going to get free advertising through the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and they're going to promote us and the tourism. And, if people who come downtown to see De Leon Plaza and everything else, and they travel with their dogs, and if they know that they have a place that they can take their dogs, this is a good thing. It's an asset for our park for sure. And it is one of the things that was highly requested when we did the survey several years ago. So we're trying to make good on it now. So that's where we're at. I think we're making good progress here, and it's not going to happen overnight, but we're moving along fairly well. So, and I think that what we need to do, though, is I think we need to request that Colby go to City Council and make them aware of what we are doing in regards to the dog park, and that we're moving on this. So, if I could have a motion for Colby to make a report, an informational report to City Council. That's what I need.
So move.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Ms. Kinnison, before that started, from what I've gathered of what I was going to bring is a resolution from that council supporting the dog park,
Okay.
not just a report.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just
I'm
want to make sure
sorry.
that was in
Yes.
there before the motion was done, that's what I'm bringing to council.
That's correct. That's right. A resolution that we have the support of the City Council to go forward with our dog, that they support the dog park.
Our resolution that we support it, that we're giving to them, is that, or we ask, who's resolving to do what?
That council resolved to support the dog park. The original council was briefed on this in a city manager report, gave a consensus to move forward, but it was never brought in front of them in a resolution. And so
Okay.
that's what, from what I'm gathering, is being requested by me to give to council. Is a resolution for them to support the commission doing the fundraising for a dog park.
Okay, you're going to take a resolution to them, and they're going to
Yes, sir.
adopt it.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
I move you do that to the extent that that's,
is there any
that's within our power to do.
discussion before the vote? Any further discussion before the vote? Everyone's clear on what we're doing? All right. You moved. You seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. All right. I believe I have covered everything that I was to bring for Jamie, and that looks like we're at the end of the meeting.
Real quick on the
Yes.
architecture fees, I'm getting with the architect as far as that. I'm going to try to ask him to have those conceptual drawings done prior to the street dance, but I have not heard back exactly if that's going to be able to be done. So we're on his timetable, but I have not heard if he believes he can do that. I think he can, but I'm not 100% positive about that. So.
Do you, how many examples might he be providing us? A couple? 3?
I know that one of the things he called me today, and he wants to come down. In that contract was a time for him to come down and meet with the commission, and so we can kind of go over what that entails. He will meet with staff, and we'll lay out kind of here's where it is, and here's the general how we want this to function, and then he will bring back a somewhat of a drawing, not all the way done,
Right.
just for commission to look at, and then bring back the final. But I don't know how long that period is. It's not spelled out in the contract as far as has to be done by this time period. I do know that he is going on a vacation at some point, but I'm trying to get him to be able to get that done prior to the street dance. I just
Okay.
wanted to put you aware of that. But I'll update you in June on the June meeting, kind of where he's at in that process.
Okay, so we should just expect one drawing, one concept.
One final concept, yes.
No, initially. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is he going to bring a couple of options and,
He will start
s-
meeting he will start to develop 3 or 4 different ideas and then bring them in together as one conceptual drawing.
Okay.
But it won't be hey, here's 4 to pick from.
good, because we
right.
don't.
Right, no, it'll be one drawing.
I think we
and
can be
he'll-
more efficient with
He'll
one
get his
drawing.
process down to that point where he's comfortable, this is the drawing that y'all are looking for, this is what the price range is going to be.
Okay, all right, I think that's good. I think,
Also gonna give us a guesstimate on how much it's gonna cost.
Yes, that's included in the fees. It's a cost estimate by all means, but it's.
Super.
okay. All right, the meeting is adjourned.
See you next month.
I second that.
We will-